Human evolution. According to Darwin's theory of evolution, humans, along with other organisms, have physically evolved from a single common ancestor. However, evolution does not only refer to the physical aspect of a species. For centuries, humans have been evolving their standard of living. Through the passing down of knowledge, we have been able to advance our civilization in many ways. Although impressive, the most important of all advancements has been in education, and how the next generation is taught so that they may too continue thriving and advancing. At the end of the day, how has new learning contributed to the advancement of education? As human education grows and evolves, so too does our society. Although many benefits have been created as a byproduct of innovation, such as the internet, which in itself has enhanced how humans educate themselves, the rapid change seen in the world today also has multiple drawbacks. One such downside to the advancement of our society is the level of depression and anxiety found within students of all ages. In a 2013 clinical trial that focused on the prevention and early treatment of depression in the lower-class community schools of Santiago, Chile, researchers assessed the effects of school-run psychological programs on depressive symptoms in students. In order to fairly measure just how effective these school-run programs were, the trial consisted of 2,512 students from 22 different schools. These students were then split into two groups. The first group attended 11 one-hour-long sessions and 2 additional booster sessions, in which they were educated by trained non-professionals on mental health and how to best help themselves. The second group of students acted as the control group, and rather than be subjected to any new form of education, were instead given the normal school curriculum. After the trial had elapsed, data was taken from 82.1% of the students. This data pointed to the result that, although school intervention was used and implemented professionally, little to no difference was found in the children's mental health. Although disappointing, information such as this is crucial to the world of education. Finding the flaw in the system and actively attempting to solve it, even if the attempts result in failure, is better than simply ignoring the problem. Additionally, finding out what doesn't work contributes to future solutions that will aid children in the fight against depression. However, trials such as the one conducted in Santiago aren't the only instances in which new learning was pushed for and used within school systems. The problem revolving around mental health, although amplified in recent years with the introduction of new technologies, has always been present within school systems. In the early 1900s, vocational guidance, otherwise known as career counseling, began within schools to aid students in the process of choosing a profession. As the 1920s rolled around, so too did many movements centered around students' well-beings, such as the child study movement. This new learning pushed counseling away from a career orientation and toward the students' personal adjustments in order to better help them personally at their current stage of life as well as in the future. This era marked the beginning of guidance counseling, a response to the need of students to have people help guide them through the rapidly changing world. Over the following decades, the role of guidance counselors and rules as to how they were to be implemented into the school system were created, evaluated, and reevaluated. Throughout the 1940s, guidance counselors were given more and more training to better aid students, and in 1952, the American School Counselor Association, otherwise known as ASCA, was formed. Counseling programs quickly took root in elementary schools, and with more guidance counselors came fully fledged programs for the ASCA to enact. Flash forward to the present day, where guidance counselors adhere to the ASCA National Model 4th edition. Guidance counseling has been and will continue to be a prime example of how new learning has formed and shaped modern education. Throughout the past century, guidance within schools has evolved substantially. Beginning as a way to aid students in the life-changing decision that is a career, research and experience quickly found that students don't only need help with their futures, they require help in their daily lives too. New learning found that counseling students aided in reducing their anxiety, increasing their learning potentials, and in general improving their lives as both children and young adults. With this knowledge, counseling was pushed into nearly every state across the US, helping millions of children in their educational careers. And as even newer knowledge emerges, such as the data accumulated in the Santiago mental health trial, counseling will further evolve to help students in their educational and personal lives.